would fade away. But we fresh every day, man. Now when it comes to sound business, it's we that run the scene.
Chinese President Xi Jinping shocked the world after his political party expressed intent to remove the two-term limit on his presidency. China's Communist Party, the ruling party in China, proposed a plan that would let the president serve indefinitely. Critics have claimed that this was a huge step backwards for the country, and anonymous sources expressed concern at the president's other decisions to censor political speech, which ran counter to expectations after China's reform era. Some have compared this to the situation in Russia, where President Vladimir Putin is serving indefinitely. The Chinese Communist Party stated the decision was in the best interest of the country because it provides protection of authority as they look to steer the country to further prosperity. A pro-Beijing newspaper said that this move will ensure happier lives. It's still many liberal activists in China are hoping the United States will condemn this affirmation of power. At the time of waiting, the United States has not condemned these actions.
Russian President Vladimir Putin threatened the U.S. with his new nukes and weapons. He gave a speech on Thursday, March 1st, showed what he characterized as peerless nuclear weaponry. President Putin warned potential aggressors that Russia is ready to defend itself. The Russian president also said his weapons would render NATO missiles as completely useless. Russia's new weapons include a nuclear-powered cruise missile with almost unlimited range, an ICBM capable of reaching both poles of the world, and an unmanned submarine that could carry nukes at intercontinental speed. President Putin claims that the missiles cannot be tracked by anti-missile technology. The weapons were created as a response to the U.S. leaving the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty in 2002.
On Thursday, March 1st, President Donald Trump announced that he will be imposing tariffs on imported aluminum and steel. The president acted in order to increase aluminum and steel production in the United States. However, economic experts reacted with great concern, and the markets reacted as the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 500 points in a day. Many conservative economists assure that these tariffs will have a negative effect on the car industry as well as other industries. The proposed tariffs will also have unforeseen global effects, including a possible trade war. The move threatens to alienate some of America's closest allies like Mexico, Canada, and the UK. Trump went on to claim that the trade wars were easy to win and assured that the American public that the move will only benefit the country. In a full-on trade war begins, economists argue companies and investors to brace for a rough time. The biggest beneficiary of the trade war will be China, as it will place the country as the strong economic global leader. Some believe the decision will finally cause the president to lose his most devoted supporters, as these tariffs might cause a recession that will cause his supporters to suffer.
Terrorists launched an attack at the French embassy and army headquarters in Burkina Faso, the capital of Ouagadougou. Around 80 civilians were injured during the attack. 8 security guards and 8 terrorists were killed. The security minister, Clement Sawadougou, said that there was also a suicide car bomb attack at the military headquarters during an anti-terrorism meeting. The meeting was moved to another location due to the bombing. Many people were scared and in shock because the locations were thought to be the safest places in the capital.
Saturday night, February 24, 50-year-old female actress Shraddhi Kapoor died in Dubai. Police said that the star died after losing consciousness and drowning in her hotel bathtub. Kapoor is recognized as India's biggest actress, and her sudden and unexpected death shocked fans. Actor Sanjay Kapoor, her brother-in-law, told the Indian Express that the actress suffered a heart attack and did not know she had a heart condition. Shraddhi's most famous role including playing the dual roles of a woman and her daughter in Kyura Gana and a reporter in Mr. India. She dominated the Filmware Awards, the India equivalent to the Oscar, with 12 nominations for Best Actress and 4 wins in the category. She was also voted India's greatest actress in 100 years. She stopped acting after her second marriage, but made a comeback in 2012 with the movie English Benglish about a woman learning English.
Lassa fever is not a new disease, but it is one of the deadliest. It has no cure, and reports say it's begun spreading in Nigeria. The reported cases in the first few months in February are more than all of 2017. Health workers, which are few, have been working hard to stem the spread, but their numbers have dwindled as they also become infected. Lassa fever symptoms can include headaches, fever, and general weakness in the body, but some people show no symptoms at all before the disease begins to affect organs and destroy blood vessels. The disease spreads through the contaminated rat urine in food, drinks, or handling contaminated items. It can also pass from person to person if special equipment isn't used in treating patients. Sexual contact can pass the disease as well, even after the illness subsides in one person. Though less contagious and less deadly than Ebola, Lassa fever can still affect a large number of people if left unchecked. Researchers at the Broad Institute of MIT and Harvard are working to sequence the genes of the virus.
The UEFA Champions League is the most prestigious soccer tournament in Europe. 32 of the best teams in Europe began competition in September of last year, and after the first elimination round, 16 of the most competitive teams are left in the competition. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Roma, Juventus, Manchester City, Chelsea, Manchester United are still in. Each team plays 2 games and the scores are added to produce the results for the winners. On March 6, the round of 16 will resume. The teams will compete in a second match where the scores from the first and second match will be added together. The 8 winners from these competitive matches will move on to the quarterfinals and be one step closer to becoming UEFA champions.
Me and Johnny were headed to a friend's party. It was a nice afternoon. The birds were chirping. Everything was perfect.
Hey, play some music, Johnny.
Ruben texted Johnny to pick him up.
Is that Ruben or what? Yeah, someone pick him up. Right here.
Jonathan, however, did not pay attention to the road.
Yeah, have you seen this chick? She's gonna be at the party. Really?
Minutes before arriving to his house, we did not see what was coming.
What is your emergency?
Don't text and drive. It can cost your life.
President Donald Trump's approval rating as President of the United States is now higher than former President Barack Obama's at the same point in their presidency. Around 2 years into the President Obama's presidency, he was at 43% approval rating. It was reported on March 1st, 2018, that President Trump was at a 50% rating. Earlier in the week, President Trump's performance was at 35% according to the SSRS, which is its lowest level. President Trump claims he had better ratings in previous weeks and questions why media doesn't report them. Last June, Rasmussen gave President Trump a 50% rating, and President Trump tweeted about it.
On February 26, an 18-year-old teen in Texas won his second wrestling championship in a row. Mark Beggs, who was born a female, won the championship in controversial fashion. Because the rules state he must compete as a female, Beggs defeated Chelsea Sanchez and he faced the audience and tapped on his chest. Beggs defeated Sanchez last year as well. Beggs said he prefers to wrestle with boys but was forced to follow the rules. In 2017, Beggs' record was 56-0 and some of the wins came from forfeits as opposing female wrestlers felt it wasn't safe to wrestle against Beggs. This year, Beggs' record was 36-0 with one forfeit.
On March 1st, United Airlines flew 80-year-old Maria Larios 1,400 miles in the wrong direction. Larios was supposedly to fly from El Dorado, Mexico to Raleigh-Durham International Airport in North Carolina. However, during the layover in Houston, she boarded the wrong plane. That took her to Denver. Her confused family waited for her to arrive in Raleigh-Durham. Maria Larios was traveling to the U.S. to stay with her daughter, who was about to undergo brain surgery. Larios does not know English. The airline issued to refund a travel certificate replacement for Larios' accidental journey.
A 40-year-old lieutenant from Pasadena has been placed under arrest after reports that he sold over 100 firearms illegally without a license. The officer, Vaskin Keith Gordon, has been with the Pasadena Police Department since 1994 and allegedly used his platform to obtain firearms to be resold. Gordon sold the illegal firearms from March 2014 to February 2017. The grand jury indicated Gordon on making false statements and forms and also possession of an unregistered short-barreled rifle. Gordon pled not guilty and was released on a bond for $100,000.
On February 21st, Colton Hab, a survivor of the Florida high school shooting, blamed CNN for giving him scripted questions to ask during Wednesday's night town hall for school safety. Colton hoped that he would be able to discuss having armed guards in his school. But after CNN refused his idea, Colton's father removed him from participating in the conference. After the allegations were announced, CNN denied giving Colton scripted questions and stated there was no proof given. A week later, on February 28, Fox News backed down from the story about scripted questions and stated that Colton's father had admitted to making a mistake. Originally, emails sent between CNN and the Habs addressed questions Colton planned to ask during the town hall, along with a long speech. CNN responded by saying it was way too long and that he should stick with the questions he had first submitted. Colton's father admitted he left out key phrases in the emails he sent to media outlets. Hab took out the words that he submitted, which implied that CNN was pressuring Colton to what to say.
On Monday morning, February 26, Southwest Airlines planes caught on fire. In result, it forced the aircraft to return back safely to Salt Lake City Airport. International Airport spokeswoman Nancy Balmer said the flight's pilots who were en route to Los Angeles conducted an emergency landing. Crystal Bangerter, a passenger that was taking her first flight, saw huge flames coming out of this engine. Suddenly, there was a huge explosion, she told QTV. Another passenger, Tracy, scared that she heard a loud pop. According to tracking site FlightWare, the plane left Salt City like around 6:38 a.m. and landed back around 7:20 a.m. Southwest made a statement about the plane landing before the engine problems.
In his weekly HBO show, Last Week Tonight, John Oliver analyzes and criticizes various problems in our society. In one of the last year's episodes, John Oliver decided to focus on coal, targeting Murray Energy, whose chief executive, Robert Murray, is notorious for his inability to take criticism. John Oliver knew he was kicking a hornet's nest and predicted he would probably be sued by Robert Murray. Oliver was proven right as Murray sued for defamation, false lie, invasion of privacy, and intention of infliction of emotional distress. When reviewing the case, Judge Jeffrey Kramer of West Virginia, Second Judicial Circuit, agreed to dismiss this suit after hearing from the defense. The defending HBO attorneys had argued that all statements put forth in the show were either entirely factual or satirical comments that were protected by the First Amendment. John Oliver acknowledged the lawsuit on his show, Sunday, February 25th, and promised to do more in-depth analysis of the case once everything has been officially finalized.
On February 27th, over 150 immigrants were arrested in Northern California. Since February 25th, enforcement officers and U.S. immigration have spread from the Central Valley to the northern part of the state. Agency officials were not supposed to mention about the operation, but later wrote a statement saying that half of those arrested had criminal history. Also, the statement mentioned that people arrested were mainly from Stockton, Sacramento, Bay Point, and San Francisco, California. This operation was named Keep Safe. Also, in early March, ICE arrested more than 200 immigrant undocumented suspects in Los Angeles. Federal agents told businesses that there would be an inspection to see if workers are authorized to work. ICE did something similar in Northern California and visited 77 businesses.
Dick's Sporting Goods is making a change with how to sell guns. After the Parkland, Florida shooting, which inspired a wave of anti-gun protests, CEO Edward Stack demanded the company to make a change. Stack said Dick's Sporting Goods will no longer sell assault rifles and will no longer sell guns to anyone at the age of 21. The store will also no longer carry high-capacity magazines and state that they will have or ever will sell bump stocks, which makes guns shoot as fast as automatic rifles. In 2012, Dick announced a temporary ban of assault rifles in Sandy Hook Elementary shooting.
An avalanche closed down Squaw Valley and ski resort at Lake Tahoe on Friday night, March 2nd. Heavy falling snow and 150-mile-per-hour winds forced the resort to close. Saturday morning, an avalanche happened. People were warned to go back inside the resort, which closed at 1:40 p.m. and remained closed the rest of the day. Explosives were brought to clean up the snow during the day. 2 people were injured and taken to the hospital in Lake Tahoe. A snowboarder was killed during the avalanche.
So far, President Donald Trump's presidency has been a very turbulent one, and his administration has seen more than its share of turnover. There has been over 35 departures from president's staff and inner circle. It's actually a normal occurrence to have a person leave a position to return to the private sector, but this kind of turnover is unprecedented for a modern president. The most recent departure is Hope Hicks, one of Trump's most trusted advisors. She resigned after speaking with Robert Mueller's special counsel. Mueller is currently investigating Russian interference in the 2016 election. Many believe the Hope's departure will have Trump's isolated in his own administration because she was Trump's closest advisor, as other members have become alienated. According to some White House correspondents, now that Hope is gone, Trump is a stranger in his own administration. This situation is only made worse by the fact that Chief of Staff General John Kelly has now become a bully in the White House, according to many reporters. He was originally supposed to bring order to the White House. Kelly has decided to go after the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who is married to Ivanka Trump. Kushner has been on temporary White House clearance for over a year. His initial request for full clearance was denied due to inconsistencies in the request. Kelly has downgraded Kushner's clearance from top secret to secret. This comes against the wishes of Donald Trump, who said Kushner was a great asset. Many pointed to Kushner's inexperience and the fact that he might be compromised. Others believe that this is a calculated move by Kelly in an attempt to shrink the influence of Trump's family in the administration. After this downgrade, many believe that this means the end of Kushner's time in the White House. There are also reports that Trump is seeking to remove Ivanka from her position as an advisor. If the reports are true, then Trump could be left all alone in his own administration.
On Tuesday morning, March 6th, in West Virginia, lawmakers said a deal was to give a 5% pay raise to all state employers, which includes teachers. The deal was to make an end to teacher strikes, which caused the cancellation of 9 school days across the state. Christine Campbell, a union representative, told CNN News that the school would resume on Wednesday, March 7th, if the deal was passed. Senator Craig Blair stated that the new deal would be the largest pay raise in state history, and there will be no tax increase. Senator Blair also said that the government will receive a $20 million reduction for cuts of general services and Medicaid. The Santa Cruz Police started a homeless assessment outreach program where officers try to attempt to make eye contact with every homeless person in the city all in one day. Officers asked more than 500 people to take a survey to see how their lives went when they became homeless and how they became homeless. Officers also arrested 28 people and gave around 90 citations and towed more than 5 vehicles away due to the fact that homeless men and women were in possession of illegal drugs, trespassing, and warrants out of their arrest. More than 250 people completed the survey.
Wednesday afternoon, February 28th, on San Felipe Road in Hollister, a California patrol officer crashed his patrol car. The collision happened at about 5:40 p.m. where other vehicles, a white Honda and an SUV, were involved in a collision. The officer told 911 that his car has landed on its roof. He suffered minor injuries. The CHP patrol car was towed and the officer continued on responding to the scene of the first accident.
New rapper in the house, YBN Castro, just released his new single. Go check it out.
We out here chilling in GHS. We the Spartans, we don't mess with the Aztecs. Your girl know my name cause she says I am the best, the #1. I don't even have to flex. You hating on me cause I'm stacking with the checks. Like in baseball, I am the one on deck. That means that I am the next to be a G and achieve that success. My boys out here are killing it too, making champs something your school can't do. Blowing past competition like I chew. We'll leave your team looking like residue. These bars so sick, they'll make you get the flu. Slide in the DM to say come through. YBN Castro, it's my debut. Call me Ric Flair when I hit you with the woo. We the ones they talking about. If we walk past you, you better bout. A loss is something that I can't allow. On the field, they call me Mike Trout. I'll hit a dinger for your girl, that'll make her shout. After that, she'll be mine without a doubt. While you stay watching at the dugout, your boy right here getting hella clout. I am the man, and I go ham. Don't mess with me, boy, you better scram. We out here chilling in GHS. We the Spartans, we don't mess with the Aztecs. Your girl know my name cause she says I am the best, the #1. I don't even have to flex. You're hating on me cause I'm stacking with the checks. Like in baseball, I am the one on deck. That means that I am the next to be a G and achieve that success.